Everybody wants a long life, but old age doesn't sound appealing. Why? For most people, old age means sickness and eventually death. Could we get the best of both worlds by increasing lifespan and health span? The answer might lie in our DNA. Long DNA strands are compacted and coiled around histone protein spools, making chromosomes, of which each of our trillions of somatic cells has 23 pairs. These cells constantly divide by mitosis, but after about 50 divisions, the cell reaches its Hayflick limit and becomes senescent, or dead. Are our cells engineered to die? Our DNA is a double-stranded helix containing all of our genetic information and is held together by sugar and phosphate backbones. These strands are anti-parallel, meaning they go in opposite directions, but not left or right. One strand goes from 5' to 3' because it begins with a phosphate attached to a sugar's 5th carbon and ends on a free space at a sugar's 3rd carbon. The other strand goes in the 3' to 5' direction, meaning it begins with a free end at a sugar's 3rd carbon and ends on a phosphate attached to a sugar's 5th carbon. DNA only replicates in the 5' to 3' direction, so the leading strand continuously synthesizes while the lagging strand forms Okazaki fragments. At chromosome ends, however, DNA can't be synthesized from scratch without a neighbor fragment to help the process. Telomeres made up of gibberish DNA shield our chromosomes from this copying error and are shortened by each replication. When the DNA is at risk of damage, the DNA damage response alarm is sounded. Imagine telomeres as a bomb fuse that gets shorter and shorter until the bomb eventually goes off, or in our case, until the cell goes senescent. Pretty dynamite, right? Active in germ, stem, and sadly cancer cells, the enzyme telomerase can add telomere sequences to chromosomes. Unfortunately, if cells can divide uncontrollably, so can mutations.
So there's no solution?
Here comes the breakthrough. Cynthia Kenyon and scientists at the University of California, San Francisco discovered genetics and aging go hand in hand. Ever noticed how centenarians run in families? It's not magic. Mutations to DAF2 hormone receptors in C. elegans doubled lifespan and youth span. This receptor is almost identical to insulin and IGF-1 receptors in humans, both of which centenarians generally have natural mutations to. C. elegans perceive this mutation as a threat and activate the FOXO gene regulator protein, which settles in the cell's nucleus, turning on protective and defensive mechanisms which active receptors would not have allowed. Discoveries like these transform old age from a frightening and inescapable monster into the happy ending our lives deserve.